This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2023 Flagstaff Classic travel trailer. The model number is 826 MBR. So this is a how-to video. I'm just going to show you the features and how they work, okay? So here I'm at the door side rear, and first thing you see is you have power stabilizer jacks. One switch controls both rear and another switch up front controls both front, just like so. Excuse me. You have a power awning with LED strip, a refrigerator, of course. This is just a quick connect for your coiled sprayer that comes with it. Okay, so you get water. Of course, you have a power plus TV signal out here, plus a bracket if you want to hang a TV. And this rail here is for your griddle. If you want to hang your, well, it's best to hang a griddle here. Some people will put it on a table, but it can hang right here. It's got a rack for it. And you also get a quick connect LP hose, which plugs in right there under the trailer to get gas to the griddle. So you also have a small utility table that sits next to that. Okay, outside speakers. Now this is your fresh water tank fill here. The most common way to get water to the trailer is your city water hookup, which is on the other side. But if you're camping someplace without city water, you can pre-fill this tank and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. I'll show you where the pump switch is when we get inside, okay? Your drain for that is under here too. It's a white gate valve. Okay. This is your water heater. Works on both gas and electric. You can see that's empty right now. There's where the anode rod screws into it. So there's a heating element behind this cover here, and then there's a gas burner valve here. So you have two switches inside. I'll show you those when we get inside also. Just remember, don't run the water heater without water in it. You always want to make sure you have water in it before you turn it on. That's important, okay? That is a vent for your range hood. It has two little releases on it, one on each side. So if you're going to be cooking and venting to the outside, you want to flip those. Take your index finger or your thumb and flip those open so the baffle flaps freely when you're venting, okay? This is just a pre-wire hookup for a solar battery charger kit. It's made by Go Power, so it's just a pre-wire if you wanted to add something like that. Here's your front stabilizer, and then of course your docking lights. Here you have your dump hose plus the coiled sprayer I told you about right here. Now this here, right? This device here, and then this button here is to control it. It's the power inverter. Now inversion, this trailer converts power and inverts power. Inversion is starting with 12 volt DC in the battery and inverting it up or over to 120 AC, right? So if let's say let me start back up a second. So when you turn this on, basically it'll take the 12 volt DC out of your battery, it'll invert it to 120 AC, it'll send it to your receptacles in the trailer. Therefore, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have AC power, but you got a AC appliance you need to run, you can actually run it off of the 12 volt battery using this power inverter. Okay, so that's what that's for. If you're not inverting, you don't really need to run it, so just hold it for a few seconds to get it to shut down and you're all set. Okay, we'll talk more about the power and the solar and everything when we get inside. Okay, you have a dual battery box. You have one battery in there, but you got room to add a second one. Just make sure if you do, you wire it so it doubles the storage capacity and not the voltage. So you want to stay at 12 volt DC. You just want to double your storage capacity. You have two 30-pound LP tanks with automatic changeover regulator. This is your power tongue jack, of course. You have a docking light on it. Plus, if you ever have an issue with it, you can pull this rubber cap off of it, and it comes with a 3/4 crank. You can put it on there and you can crank it manually to get yourself out of trouble. So that's a good feature to have. You can always get unhitched no matter what. All right. Now, also when we're talking about the battery, if you can see that red key right there, right here, that's the kill switch. So you can actually shut it off if you want to. Keep that in mind that if you need to disconnect the battery, you can just turn it off with that key. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, let's move on down. This is the griddle we talked about, and here's the rail or the racket that hangs on the rail right here. And there's that utility table I told you about. Okay, we can go over that more when you pick up if you want. It's all pretty self-evident though. This is your 50 amp power cord. So your short cord is 50 amp, but we do give you this reducer to reduce it down to 30, and just in case you're camping someplace with only has 30 amp. Okay, your dump valves, of course. Outside shower, both hot and cold water. This is just a utility light here. This is your water docking here. So your city water hookup is right here. Just hook up the city water, turn it on, and you're all set. I showed you on the other side, there's the fill for the fresh water. In case you don't have city water, you can pump it out of yourself. Like I said, I'll show you the switches for that when we get inside. This is for antifreeze, to pump antifreeze into your system. You'll have to, if you're going to do it yourself, you'll have to educate yourself a bit about it, but that's the port used for that. And this is your black tank flush here. So like it says on the sticker, never run the black tank flush. Never put the hose on here and turn it on unless the black tank valve is open. So it'll go like this. You'll have your hose hooked up here. You'll pull your black tank and dump it. You'll leave that valve open. Then you'll put the hose on here and screw it on and turn it on, and let the fresh water flush out your black tank and clean off your sensors. But always do that with the black tank valve open so too much pressure doesn't build up under there, okay? And then you have Caple's satellite and antenna through also. This is where your water pump is, and you also have a water filter canister here. You get a wrench to take that off. This is held on by one number 2 square-headed screw. All the screws are number 2 square-headed screws, so keep that in mind. You want to get a bit. If you don't have it, you want to get a number 2 square-headed bit for your drill. That is another pre-wire. That's a Furrion backup camera pre-wire if you want to add that. Also, you have a ladder, which is great. The manufacturer states you should inspect the roof every 90 days. So you want to go up there and look around, or have somebody do it. Make sure there's no damage caused by low branches or anything like that, or no leaks where water could get past the sealant and that sort of thing. So odds are you won't have to do anything to the trailer for years and years, but you inspect it just to make sure, okay? And that's every 90 days. People generally don't inspect their roof enough, so it's really good thing to do when it comes to protecting your trailer, okay? All right, so when we come in the door here, get up on my stool here. Okay, so here is your control panel. So you have your 2 slide rooms here, in and out. Your power awning, in and out. Never leave the awning out unattended if you're not going to be at the campsite. Roll it in. You have heating pads for your freshwater tank, your gray tank, and your black tank. So you just turn it on like that, and it heats up your tank so you can extend your camping season. Your water pump, I told you I'd show you the switch to turn it on. This is the switch for the water pump. Use that to pump water out of the freshwater tank if you don't have city water. You also use that to winterize the trailer. Your water heater, electric is here. Gas is here. Most people, when they get to the campground, first of all, you make sure there's water in the water heater tank. Then you're going to just turn on the electric and leave it. They'll only run the gas when you're like using the shower and you need fast recovery. So it's up to you, but that's generally the way it's done. And this is your Wi-Fi booster here, your Power Ranger, right? That's what this sticker here is for. So basically, it gives your family really good public Wi-Fi. There is you can look at it, and it does talk about an option for cellular and that sort of thing. But most people aren't interested in that. They already have cellular on their phone. They don't need on their trailer. But what this does is the Power Ranger itself is on the roof, and it's a router, and it has a Wi-Fi antenna. So when you open your phones, your family's phones, to Wi-Fi, you'll see this 1010-5215. That's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So you would make up a password for all of your devices, so it will log out automatically. Then who's ever going to be in charge of it will type this bottom line here. It says control panel. Will type this address into a browser, and it'll take me to the password. Take you to the password page, and you'll type in "Change Me Now 5215." It's a temporary password, of course, and log you onto the Wi-Fi Ranger, and you'll be able to see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So there'll be just an endless list of Wi-Fi, right? But you'll pick out the campground Wi-Fi, for example, and if you have they give you a password for it, you'll type in the password and get on the system. So that's what this sticker is all about. You also have a code where you can learn more about it. So, okay, now that's basically, public Wi-Fi is not very good, so this just gives you much better public Wi-Fi. So, okay, now over here, because you have solar panel here, this is your solar controller. Right now, I don't know if you can see that, but it says flooded right there. Flooded is the type of battery you have right now. So that's why it's set that way. If you ever change your battery to lithium or gel, whatever, you have to physically change that. You have to read your directions and do that. The main button you're going to push is B here. And right now, let me bring it around here. Right now we have 13.5 amps, or excuse me, let me back up. 13.5 volts DC in the system, right? So that's excellent. Push B again, and we're gaining 5.5 amps from the sun and converting it into DC power and storing it in your battery. We're partially in the shade right now because of the building, plus it's early in the morning, so that'll change throughout the day depending on the conditions, the position of the sun in the sky in relationship to the trailer, all those factors and more. So it can go up past 6-8 amps gain, but it'll change throughout the day. If it ever says FUL and flashes, it's telling you that there's no more room for storage in your battery, so it shut the panel off. So if it's just not responding and it's flashing, just wait till your DC volts drop in your battery, and then you'll go back to these regular screens. Okay, 100% charged. And these are amp hours here, so you get all those different readings. Like I said, the most important one to me is 13.5 volts DC. It's good to know that, and the amp gain from the sun. It's good to know that also. Okay, it has some other functions too. You can read about it, but those are the main functions. Okay, and this is just telling you that there's an app for this stuff, just like there is everything these days. So, okay, and this is we won't go into that yet. Okay, so when it comes over, we come over here to your television. Of course, it's works like any other TV. You have remotes here. When it comes to your sound bar, you have two speaker zones, A and B. A is inside the trailer, B is outside the trailer. You've got a USB drive, so you can convert your favorite music to MP3s and put them on a thumb drive and take them with you. You also have FM radio and Bluetooth. So you have Bluetooth also, so you can stream from your phone or tablets. Okay? So you have that. Make sure this is locked into place. It has it's sort of a latch. How should I say this? The mount has a little latch, and if you push it in towards the wall, you'll hear it lock into place. So you just don't want it to be flailing around when you're driving. So make sure you lock it into place. Okay. The microwave works like any other microwave. Okay. This is the range hood we talked about. I showed you the vent on the outside. If you're going to be running the fan, you want to open that baffle outside so it flaps freely. You also have a light here. I don't know if he's got your gas turned on here, so I'm not. If I can't light it, I'm just going to talk you through it because I didn't check here. But basically, you have your sparker right here. Turn it clockwise to spark it. Then you have your 3 burners here, and then your oven. Let me see what he's got here. Yeah, he's got it shut off. So anyway, it's shut off. But it's as soon as you as soon as you turn it on, I just go to high and you turn this clockwise. It'll light. The burners will light. Also, there's a pilot light back here at the bottom, all the way to the back. And that's what the last knob is for. You go to the picture of the flame. That means pilot light. You depress it and you keep it depressed while you're lighting it. You light it down here, and once it lights, you still hold this in depressed for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple, and then you go to operating temperature, and it'll function as an oven does. When you shut it off, the pilot light and the flame go out, so you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. You have an ambient light here and then an oven light below it. Okay. Always travel with this in the down position so it doesn't get broken. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Your keys are hanging here. Let me look through some of the drawers. I didn't get a chance to look through anything yet. Okay, this is your packet here with all of your literature in it. Whoops, pulling it out there. Okay. This one's a GFCI. There'll be 2 GFCIs in this trailer. All the plugs are wired through a GFCI. So this one you can see is just a regular plug, but it's still wired through the GFCI. Okay. So if you're outside and you lose power, always think GFCI first. You'll go to the 2 different GFCIs and see if they've tripped. Okay. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. Never, if it's not working, if it's not glowing green, get it taken care of immediately. Never just ignore it. That's obviously very important. Okay. Your refrigerator is a 12-volt DC refrigerator, so it runs on 12-volt DC, which is a great thing. Okay. Theater seats here, as you can see, they're powered. Okay. Let's go a little bit farther. This is your thermostat here. You just basically push the mode like you do in any thermostat. You'll just go through heat, which is your LP, and then fan, which is just the air conditioning running without the compressor, and then of course regular cooling, which is air conditioning. It's very simple. Now I showed you the inverter, right, for the battery that inverts the 12-volt DC to 120 AC, right? Well, this does the opposite. This is the converter here. So when you're plugged into shore power, this starts off with 120 AC and converts it to 12-volt DC. So you have regular 120 AC circuit breakers on this side, like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled, right? Then you see over here, you have 12-volt DC fuses here, and they're all labeled. So what's happening, this is your distribution panel for your AC, like you'd have in your box in your house. And then it takes the power and converts it to 12-volt DC over here. So this distributes the DC here, right? It's also a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery up front on the tongue, or batteries if you add a second one, how much amperage is in there and how much it needs. If it's charged up, it'll just trickle a couple amps up there for it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs. So when you're plugged into shore power, this will charge your battery. When you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle charges the battery. And in between that, the solar panel is charging the battery as it can, depending on the conditions outside, okay? Okay. Alrighty. So let me look through some of these drawers. Like I said, I didn't go through it all. I want to make sure I'm not skipping over anything here. Okay, this is wardrobe. Alright, so this is another TV hookup here. Keep that in mind, and you do have a backer plate here, so you can have a swing out bracket. Emergency escape window works like they all do. You push it open that way, all the way through. Then you grab a hold of the tab and pull the screen out in an emergency. Storage under here. Let's see what we've got here. We've got this. You can see it accesses the storage outside. Plus, you got 2 drawers here. Okay. Okay, so this is a remote for your fan. Up here, it controls the lid on the fan, the fan speed, all that stuff from here. There's the other GFCI we talked about. Thing to remember about this shower is always have the doors latched in the open position like this when you're traveling. If you don't, they'll slide back and forth and they can break. So always latch it in the open position when you're traveling. Now this is another eco device here. This is the shower miser. We're looking at it right here. So what this is a water recirculator. It saves fresh water basically. So if you're in an area with drought conditions, you're not wasting fresh water while you're sending it down the drain, while you're heating it, and you're not wasting space in your grate tank with perfectly good water. So what it does is just sends the water when you're in this position here. It sends the water around in a loop from here to the water heater to the water pump, here, water heater, water pump, around and around and around while it heats up. As it heats up, this will change color to a beigeish color. You'll see it really clearly. It'll change to a beigeish color, so you know that it's heated up. Once it does that, then you're just going to go into normal shower position, and it works as a shower does. Like I said, you're just not wasting water while you're heating it up. So it's a neat device when it comes to saving fresh water. Okay, so that's a shower miser. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Toilet works like all RV toilets do in the sense that it sits over a black tank. You want to use at least a gallon of water in the tank along with a dose of chemical. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. You'll come in here, you put a dose of chemical in the bowl, then step on the pedal and hold it down till at least a gallon of water goes into the tank along with the chemical. It's ready to be used. You can use more than a gallon of water, just don't use less. Most people use more. But you have to do that. If you don't do that, it's considered using it dry, and it'll get clogged up, it'll smell terrible, it'll just be a mess. So keep that in mind. Always a dose of chemical and at least a gallon of water. Okay. So let me look around a little bit here. That's when you see something like this with a hinge on this side. That means there's some kind of a hookup behind it. So there's it's electrical usually, sometimes plumbing. So okay, alrighty. So I think that about covers it. Let me come back up here. You have 2 air conditioners, which is great. Okay. This is another TV hookup here. I don't quite understand. Maybe it's something here. I'm not sure why it's here, but keep in mind, see this green, how it's glowing green? This button that turns it on, if you're using a TV, you want this turned on green, because that's telling you the digital antenna is turned on. So you always want that on. Okay. Okay, here's the last of the stuff. Okay, so I showed you the outside TV bracket. Here's the part that goes on the TV. I talked about in the back of the trailer how you can access your water filter through the canister, and this is the filter that goes in the canister. If you're going to use it, change it every season. This is the water filter wrench to unscrew the water filter canister to install the water filter. These are just toilet paper holders and a towel rack in case you want to use that. Most people use a stand because it's not easy to find a stud in these trailer walls. And then this, of course, is your tire pressure monitor. You have to program it to your vehicle. It's real simple to do. Basically, each one of the wheels has a sensor stuck to the wheel, inside the tire, stuck to the wheel directly across from the valve stem. So that's how you know where it's at. You can get close to it. So if you have, like when you have two wheels next to each other, you want to make sure you're programming the right one. So you get it this close to that area and you know you got the right one. And you just follow the directions. It'll tell you the temperature of your hubs, if they're overheating. It can tell you that if you're losing tire pressure, all those things. So that's what that's for, okay? Alrighty. So I want to thank you for purchasing this trailer here at National RV Detroit. Keep in mind what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days. That's important. Right now this is winterized, so the system is purged of water and filled with antifreeze. The water heater is bypassed right now and it's empty. So just make sure that you have water in the water heater before you turn it on, and make sure to inspect that roof, okay? Thank you.